When you first look at this watch, it doesn't really try to grab your attention in a loud way. And that's kind of the first signal that you're dealing with something different here. This is not a design built to impress everyone instantly. It's built for the kind of person who notices details. This is the Breguet Classique Power Reserve Moonphase in yellow gold. And what's interesting about it is how calm it feels. In a world full of oversized watches, aggressive designs and constant visual noise, this one takes the opposite approach. It stays quiet. The yellow gold case immediately gives off that warm, traditional luxury feel. Not flashy gold. Not modern hype gold. More like something rooted in history, something that has been refined over a very long time. And that actually reflects the brand itself. Breguet is not trying to reinvent luxury watchmaking. It helped define it. On the wrist, the first thing you notice is balance. It doesn't feel heavy in a distracting way, and it doesn't feel like it's trying to dominate your presence. It just sits naturally, almost like it belongs there without needing validation. Then you get to the dial, and that's where things start to quietly get more interesting. You've got a Moonphase complication sitting elegantly at the top, and a power reserve indicator integrated into the layout in a way that feels intentional, not added later. Nothing feels forced. Everything feels placed with purpose. And then there's the texture. The guilloché engraving on the dial is one of those details that doesn't fully translate through photos or even video. It's something you notice when light moves across it. It creates this shifting pattern that makes the surface feel alive. Like the watch is constantly changing depending on how you look at it. The hands are another signature detail. Thin, elegant, and instantly recognizable as Breguet. That hollow tip design is subtle, but it gives the watch a kind of identity that doesn't rely on logos or branding to stand out. What's really interesting about a piece like this is that it's not trying to compete with modern tech watches. It's not trying to track your steps, your heart rate, or your notifications. It exists in a completely different category. This is mechanical craftsmanship first, everything else second. Inside, the automatic movement continues that same philosophy. You're not just looking at timekeeping, you're looking at a system built on physical energy, precision engineering, and decades of refinement. The power reserve indicator reminds you of something we've completely lost in digital devices. You actually run out of energy, and you have to respect that system. And that raises a bigger question. In a world where your phone tells time more accurately than anything else ever could, why does something like this still exist? The answer isn't practicality. It's meaning. It's craftsmanship. It's the idea that something can exist purely because humans are capable of building it at an extremely high level, even if it's not necessary anymore. This watch is definitely not trying to be for everyone. And it shouldn't be. That's part of what keeps it special. Luxury loses its identity when it becomes too accessible or too universal. The price point clearly places it in the high-end luxury space, but what's interesting is how it doesn't feel like it's trying to justify itself through attention. There's no exaggeration here. No unnecessary design tricks. Just restraint, precision, and confidence. When you rotate your wrist and the light hits the gold case just right, the entire watch shifts visually. The dial texture, the hands, the reflections, it all comes together in a way that feels more like a crafted object than a product. It stops feeling like just a watch and starts feeling like a piece of mechanical art that happens to tell time. And that's really the core of it. This isn't about being the most advanced watch or the most feature-packed watch. It's about preserving a form of craftsmanship that takes decades to master and centuries to evolve. So if you're exploring it, the link is in the description. But this is one of those pieces where you're not just buying a watch. You're buying into a philosophy of time, patience, and mechanical artistry that doesn't really exist in modern devices anymore. And that's what makes it stand out.